Hi, my name is Sean Mabry. I'm a writer, and I'm not used to doing videos. It's been so long. So the reason why I've been gone is just simply I've been fighting a cold, so I've been having a hard time speaking at all. Not just working up the energy to get up on camera, but now I'm finally on the mend for real. So I wanted to get back in here and start making videos again. So today I wanted to share the single most deadly word in the English language for writers. And that word is talent. And let me tell you why. Talent is one of those things where there's really no good way to respond to it. In the sense that if somebody comes to you and says, hey, you are a very talented writer, well, the best thing you can do is ignore that. And that might sound a little counterintuitive, and I'll explain that in a second, but if somebody comes to you and says, hey, you're not a talented writer, well, guess what? You should also ignore that. And that's maybe a bit more obvious because like anyone can tell you, when you are developing a new skill, especially if it's a new skill outside your areas of natural strength and talent, you're going to suck at first. You're going to be bad at it, and so you have to develop the thick skin to just ignore and filter out the people who are telling you you suck. When hey, you know you suck. You know that you're new to this. And you know that you are putting in the effort to develop the skill and get to the point where you're good. So if you're not naturally talented, you have no reason to listen to the people who want to come and point that out, because there's nothing useful you can extract from that feedback. Now, somebody coming and giving you constructive criticism saying, hey, you could improve if you do this, that's worth maybe taking a little bit more seriously, although in that case you'd want to evaluate based on who's giving that advice. But let's go back to people who are talented, because I was told I was talented from a very early age, and I actually think it's been one of the biggest things holding me back in my career as a writer is that, even though, again, I'm still fairly young, I do look around and I see other writers that, at my age who have more books published than I do, that have, more, just a longer publication list than I do in general. And when I think about what's the big difference, like what was different in their journey than mine, that allowed them to get further ahead, I actually think the biggest factor is that they didn't have talent, so they didn't have, they just went and did the hard work, or if they did have talent, they learned how to ignore the feedback that says, hey, you're really talented. Because here's the danger of letting it infect your ego that you are talented. When you let that talent enter your ego, it's very easy to enormously overestimate how much that talent actually buys you. Because the truth of the matter is that, and I have a really simple, nice visual metaphor to help illustrate this for you. In any realm of life, in any skill, in any domain of expertise, talent works like this. So imagine that you have a talented person and an untalented person that are both about to run a 100-meter dash, right? They're track and field style. Now, the untalented person has to start right at the 0 line. And again, this is a 100-meter dash. The talented person gets to start at the 1-meter line, right? So out of 100 meters in anything, talent buys you the equivalent of 1 meter, 1%. It is a hard head start, and it does exist. And for some people, that's the thing that gets the ball rolling for them and gets them to get into something at an early age, which can be an advantage in its own right. But really fundamentally, when you come down to it, let's go back to that analogy. Between these two runners, okay, let's say that runner 1 with that 1 meter advantage knows in advance that they're going to have that 1 meter advantage, so they don't train as hard. But let's say the other runner starting on 0 understands that they're going to be starting with a disadvantage and trains their heart out in preparation for this dash. They run every week. They train until their legs feel like jelly and they can barely walk. Right? They put in so much more effort and so much more focus and dedication, so that when it comes time for the actual race, they go soaring ahead of the guy who had the 1 meter advantage. The irony here is that there are actually many people who excel in areas that are not talented in for this exact reason. So I would encourage you ultimately to just filter out all feedback that has to do with talent. Because if you don't have talent, you don't want to get discouraged by the fact that you don't have talent. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. The hard work is what's really going to get you there. And if you do have talent, guess what? The hard work is what's going to get you there. The talent really doesn't buy you that much. So forget about the talent, stop patting yourself on the back, and get to work. That's the thing that really counts, and that's the thing that will let you live up to your true potential. Which I know, I'm sure anyone who's listening to this who's a writer, that's what we're all really looking for, right? So, feels good to be making videos again. I'm glad to be back in the game. Feel free to like, share, comment, and subscribe as always, and I will see you again next week. Bye.